Round number 11 of 12 of the inaugural United Sim Racing Truck Series campaign brings us to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway for the penultimate race on the season, where Cody Gibson continues to chase down Jamie Walker, who leads the title fight now with just 39 points in between the two after last week's race at Kentucky, as the championship battle begins to glow to the smallest margin we've seen all year as the remaining races continue to wind down. Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Hampton, Georgia for the Georgia Peaches 180 on LSRTV. Topside with you tonight alongside Cisco Scaramuza. My name is Evan Pasoko, and welcome to tonight's LSRTV pre-race show. Laura Lawson, our executive producer and a production hauler, pushing buttons and getting us on the air to you tonight on LSRTV and iRacing Live. And we welcome you into the end of the qualifying session. These guys getting their laps in before we embark on 120 laps and 180 miles on tonight's race. Cisco, looking at the points though in this one, it has been one race. It has been two races of a gap between Jamie Walker and everybody else. Problems last week at Kentucky, and a win for Cody Gibson makes it still a long shot, but a little bit closer with just 39 points separating the top two in the championship with two races left.
Absolutely. Right now, Jamie Walker's in a position where all he has to do is be consistent. But, we're talking about going out there and racing. You want to go out there and get the win. So, I don't think, a lot of people will go into a points racing position. I think if he's smart, he'll want to run around, the 5th, 10th spot. But, you're still going out there to win races, Evan. I mean, that's what everyone's here for. And, you can only do that for so long.
And we talked with Gibson after his win, and he said the only thing that he can do is show up, try to win the race, and hope that things fall in his favor. Jamie Walker has been the model of consistency, Cisco, but when you look at these top two, still based on the numbers, Tommy Ryan is still in this conversation, 59 back. But for those two guys, all they can do is try to win this race. It doesn't matter, because if Jamie Walker finishes second the next 2 weeks, they're going to lose by over 30 points. But they need to do the best finish that they can personally and hope that he has an off night. That's really their only hope into this race.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we take a look at the points. Gibson's 39 back of Walker, and Ryan is 59 back of Walker. So, I mean, those two guys, they're going to need something to go their way if they hope to make up that big gap. But, we're here at Atlanta. This is one of my favorite places, mile and a half. It's a quad oval. I just love this place, Evan.
It's hot Atlanta, the sun is out, it is a slick racetrack, but it is extremely fast. As we take a look at the LSRTV starting grid for the Georgia Peaches 180, James Krahula will roll from pole position in this one behind the wheel of the number 25 car. Tommy Ryan, his teammate, the number 6 car, outside front row pole for the number 2 spot in qualifying. Ricky Harden as well going to round out that team in P3. Jamie Walker, championship leader, outside on row 2 and 4th, and Chase Cabri in 5th.
Jody Green's going to start in the 6th spot in the 99. Aaron Bennett to his outside is going to be 7th. 8th is going to go to Bobby Terrell. Mike Rominger is going to start P9, and Christian X is going to start P10.
The challenger, Cody Gibson, starts tonight in 11th position. Daniel Lee Eberhard in 12th. Ryan Keese in 13th. The 69 of Dominic Dyball in 14th. And 15th to the 35, the Florida Chevy of Joshua King.
16th is going to go to the 91 of Steve Gottschalk. Starting 17th is Joel Wood in the Woodwind Chevy. Dan Murray's going to start 18th. Right behind that row is going to be 19th is Steve Ritter. And 20th is going to be George Hendricks.
Scott Simley qualifies 21st tonight. Sal Accardi outside of him in 22nd. 23rd for Chris Baines. Greg Mall in 24th. And Jason Swan in 25th.
Just outside, it's the number 2 HPP machine of Rhett McBride. Behind them, Eric Wortley is going to start 27th. Joe Dinsmore to his outside is going to start 28th. And 29th is going to be Charlie Melvin, the last car to take a time, which means Rusty Farrell is going to start 30th.
And then from here on out, Brian Walsh slated for a 31st spot on the grid. Jeff Gilmore, 32nd. 33rd to Mark Allen. Brian Bible, 34th. Aaron Grosskopf in 35th.
Daniel Haney also didn't take times. Carson Albe, he's going to start 37th. 38th is Steve Herring. And 39th, shotgun on the field, is Bertel Surfs.
24 degrees of banking around this 1.5 intermediate quad oval racetrack. We have 120 laps on tap for tonight's race. A little bit of a longer distance than what we saw in round 10 for the Bluegrass 165. Cody Gibson, your winner from 1 week ago. He built out William Amaker, Scott Simley, Chase Cabri, and Bobby Terrell inside the top 5. Aaron Bennett, Tommy Ryan, Steve Gottschalk, Steve Ritter, and Ricky Harden came home top 10 1 week ago. Add 15 miles onto that, it's 120 laps start to finish. A lot of strategy, a lot can change, and a lot on the line. A championship could be decided tonight. It all depends on what your championship contenders do. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV and iRacing Live. The American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car going to make that sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road. It's the Mercury Chevrolet of James Krahula on the inside of the racetrack. Green flag flies in the Georgia Peaches. 180 underway in Atlanta down to turn 1. Good restart on the outside for the 6 and the 17. Not as much for the top side that Adiada Jody Green holding up the outside lane down through turns 1 and 2. Advantage on the bottom and the front though. It's James Krahula down the back.
Yeah, Harden was trying to take a look on that inside. We do have one truck down the apron out of the way, but meantime, as they head into turn 3, that bottom line's a little checked up right now. Harden's trying to look for a way around Krahula, maybe to get him a little loose or maybe dive to that inside. Meanwhile, that outside line's starting to back up. They really don't have the muscle up there that they can hang with the leaders as they head back down into 1.
It is a very racy racetrack. Then the top side's able to keep her in there, almost still side by side, couple of rows deep to turns 1 and 2. You see the 6 up there, the 17 up there. That's championship leader Jamie Walker, who went from about 3rd through turn 2 the first time, now back to about P6 or 7 as he's stuck behind that 6-car topside. It is still a viable line, but by no means the preferred lane early without any rubber down on the racetrack. Everybody flocks to the inside. You see the 25 to 15 Krahula, Harden, even Capri there, the number 39 car. Those top 3-4 trucks on the bottom, they were right on each other's bumper all the way down the front stretch, all the way through 1 and 2. Speeds are so high, momentum such a big thing in these trucks and at this racetrack.
How about a little 2x2 action there as we're looking at P10. That's the 35 of Joshua King. He's leading that kind of bunch right there. Also involved is Daniel Eberhardt, Bobby Terrell, and Christian X. Those guys are duking it out right now. 2x2 as they head back into 1.
First side-by-side fight inside of the top 5. Take a look at the number 31 of Mike Rominger on the inside, the 33 of Aaron Bennett on the outside of the racetrack. Bennett into tonight's race 4th in the championship standings, just 72 points off the top spot. Not in a position to win this title, but is still in striking distance for a top 3, if not a 2nd in points mathematically. Outside of the racetrack, not doing him any favors, though, and that 17 of Walker goes to the inside of the racetrack. They continue to battle back 2 and 3 wide in the pack, but eyes up inside of the top 5 as Walker tries to regain some ground. Bennett to the inside of the racetrack. They try to leave that 31 now of Rominger up there with no help.
Yeah, that 3 wide was Daniel Eberhardt trying to push the middle there between X and I believe that was Terrell, but had to back out of it, decide better of it. But right now, Rominger's starting to slide up the track a little bit. That's going to give Bennett maybe a shot to try and get the run out of the corner here. You know, it's kind of weird. You get that great run off the top side here at Atlanta, kind of going 3-4. Coming out of 4, I should say, but you know, you got to watch out. But right now, the battle right now is for 3rd, and that's Chase Cabri fighting off Ricky Harden. But Harden's making a hard charge on that outside as they head into 3.
And that was Harden in 2nd, falling back to 3rd. The challenger on the bottom is the 39 of Cabri, slides up in 3 and 4, and give him the spot. So the Clean Energy Chevrolet goes to P2. You look on the board with the 17 of Jamie Walker, started 4th, fell back into P4 now with a pass that last time on the 31 of Mark Rominger, and you look back in front of him, you see Ricky Harden, Chase Cabri, James Krahula. No challenge so far. Your pole sitter has been enjoying that clean air. Nobody has been able to take a peek rather to the inside nor the outside quite yet, but he's not really putting all that much of a gap on these guys. 15 of Harden up the bumps down in 4, opens up the inside of the racetrack. Walker, Rominger not close enough to challenge that time through, but after 8 laps, your top 5 drivers still within 0.4 of a second of each other at Atlanta.
And Joshua King in the 35 actually caught the outside wall there on that last lap. He slipped back from 12th all the way back to around 20th now, and he continues to slide back as George Hendricks gets to his inside. But, you know, you lose a lot of momentum here, Evan, when you get in that outside wall, and it's really easy to do here because usually these trucks are set up to run very loose.
It looks like at least 5 drivers didn't actually make the grid. Carson Obe, Daniel Haney, Berto Surface, Charlie Melvin, Brian Welch, the drivers that don't make it to the grid based on the qualifying times or lack thereof. Aaron Grosskopf is 1 lap down in 31st, so early problems for the driver of the number 9 machine onto the pit lane. Ryan Keese, the last driver on the lead lap, the number 24 machine, started from pit road. He's about 3/4 of a second behind your leaders, who continue to be up and at it at a turn number 4. 120 laps here tonight. We'll have 10 laps in the books of that this next time by the start-finish line, but don't let that fuel you. I think that these guys are going to be taking it easy. They are still all on it. Top 10 cars within 1.2 seconds. The leader trying to pull a little bit of a gap now. He's bringing Chase Cabri with him. That is still now side by side, though. For third, it's Ricky Harden topside. Inside for the 17 of Jamie Walker. So Walker lost 3-4 spots in the opening 1-2 laps. He's coming back on it. Rominger moving also. So the top side not kind to Ricky Harden. And you have to wonder what the handling is like on that number 15 Chevrolet, Cisco, because again, he pushed up in 4 a couple of laps ago. And I guess nothing came from that, but it showed that the truck was having a little bit of problem sticking it on the inside of the racetrack. It eventually moved up enough to open up that inside lane, and it'll be a question of how early can he get back down, or can he even defend that spot? Because if that 17 can get something done, it is a big freight train behind, with the 13, 31, 33, and then 7 car immediately following in behind him. Good challenge, though, topside, and Harden looks like he holds him off. Great move out of Ford.
Yeah, Harden actually caught a break there up on that kind of middle line there. There's a good sweet spot that if you hit it just right, you can get a great run out of the corner. But if you miss it, you're going straight up into the wall if you're not careful. There's a lot of bumps on this track. You know, the surface is kind of old, so you got to watch out for that. But Harden actually got a great run there. He's put about a truck length on Walker now, and he's starting to pull away.
We take a look back at Bobby Terrell, the number 14 Muscle Milk Chevrolet. In a fight, it's topside for the 99 of Jody Green, who started 8th, has fallen to 10th. Terrell himself started in P8 and has fallen to 11th. Rather, that was Jody Green, who actually started P6, down 4 spots to 10th and stuck on the outside of the racetrack. Tommy Ryan, just in front of this group, started in P2. He is back in P9. So you're looking at 3 drivers that have not been going forward and contact with 114 and the 99. And that gives Terrell the spot as Green gets checked up off the corner with that contact as the Muscle Milk Chevy pushed up. That opens up the door, and Christian X coming through the middle now.
Yeah, Terrell.
Oh, contact at 99 in the fence. X not clear. Slides up the hill. Jody Green hard into the turn 2 wall. 3 cars dive low to avoid it. A position will go to Baines as well. Number 69, Cara Dominic Dieball, as they get into each other in turns 3 and 4. Everybody outside the top 10 losing their minds.
I think we've gotten to that point now. The tire wear's starting to kick in. Lap 15. Keep a note of that in your notebook for later, Evan. But looks like about lap 15, if you aren't careful, a lot of these guys, Dom Dieball, you know, Terrell, you know, all these guys have been fighting almost since the beginning of the race, and they've probably run the trucks pretty hard, I'd have to say, for the first 15 laps. And I guess we're starting to see now, and right now, another truck in the wall. That's the 15 of Harden. He got up in the outside
Dieball's in the fence. Hard contact into the grass. He goes at a turn number 4. He'll spin back up onto the racetrack, back down into the grass, left and right, left and right. Look out, he's in the middle of the track and huge contact. Caution flag is out. He couldn't lock it down in time, and Jeff Gilmore destroyed him.
Oh, man.
He was trying to hang on to it. It started in 4. It ends basically in turn 1. Everybody, though, you talk about the threshold on these guys just losing the handling just like that. The last 2-3 laps. Everybody all over the place. It looked like he was coming back up. Then he turned that car back down. And I understand you're at the point where you're facing the inside wall, but you turn it back up, you come back in front of traffic, and that's a huge accident. Luckily, I think only 1 truck got major damage, and that was Gilmore, because it sent Dieball over top of the rest of the field. You'll see the replay, but I mean, at that point, when your car's pointing to the inside wall, you got to just lock it down or take that hit on the inside wall, not risk coming back up.
And Dieball's kind of coming through the field right now, but the good news for him right now is that that motor is still working, so he should be able to pull into the pits and use that quick repair. These guys get 1 quick repair during the race, so he should be able to get that thing patched up as long as the motor doesn't blow up on him.
And he's got to wait till he can find his spot in line, so he basically slows to a stop at a turn 4. Leaders down to the pit lane. James Krahula led every single lap to this juncture, just 17 laps in of 120 here tonight. The 25 car down into the number 1 pit stall. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, right now tires going up on that truck right now. Meanwhile, I'm looking down pit roads. All these guys coming in right now, but the 16, he's rolling. Did he even stop? I think he's just rolling through. But
no tires.
Yep, 2 tires is the call there. So Cody Gibson going to follow him out. And then everybody else is coming out. The 39 with a great stop right there, Chase Cabry. Oh, but I think he just came out of the radio. Did he speed, Evan?
He's not happy with something over the radio, and Chase Cabry, a fast driver in this series. We know that to be true. Possibly may have found himself with a speeding penalty. Looks like he's up to speed, so not going to be penalized, at least from what it looks like now. I think it was just upset that he didn't win the battle off of the pit lane with the 25 of James Krahula. He felt like he may have been in front, and at least on my end of things, it looks like at both scoring loops, it looks like the 25 of James Krahula did not beat that 39 of Chase Cabry, but the sim is going to score him in front, so Chase expressing his displeasure over the radio. They'll give the spot to the number 25 of James Krahula. That's what that was over the radio. The 7 of Cody Gibson, the one on 2 tires. We saw the 16 roll through pit road without service. Steve Ritter will come down this time, get that number 16 Chevrolet serviced, back out on track, and by the time we get set to go back green, he'll be around P30 or so with 31 trucks on the lead lap at the back and out of the chaos. But this will be fun to see what Cody Gibson can do, especially at a racetrack where it's very difficult to get away from somebody, and in 15 laps, the leader wasn't able to get anything with the, I guess, equal tire advantage. You would hope as a leader to get a big jump and pull away. That's not what kind of a racetrack Atlanta is, so we'll see what those 2 tires on the number 7 Toyota can do to everybody else who's got 4 fresh Goodyear Wranglers as well as a full tank of fuel.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here, but I can't see it working for the 7 truck unless we get another quick caution or something like that. But, you know, it is Atlanta. It's not out of the question. I mean, you know, this track, especially, this is, I think, the track I've seen the most in this entire sim where we have those, you know, quick green cautions, just because, you know, the way the gear ratios run in these trucks, if you start in that low gear and you're not careful, you spin these tires and you're around. And it happens within a split second if you're not careful. And, you know, and these fixed setups, you got to be careful.
The big things to note about the series rules is that there is an EOL handed out to the drivers that are deemed the cause of the caution. So Dominic Dieball is given the end of the longest line penalty from race control. He'll be all the way at the back for this restart. He does have a clean race truck. He is going to come back down and get service now, so he uses up that one quick repair. However, the number 69 Toyota does lose his lead lap status in that, so he'll fall 1 lap to the negative and be in a prime position for the restart to be in a spot to receive the lucky dog on the follow-up one. As well, these drivers are working with that one quick repair. We've mentioned that. The other thing to note is that it's a 60% fuel cell, which works very well in the 3 races that we've seen so far in relation to how long these races are. Keeps the strategy in there, keeps these guys honest about it, and I still feel like we have yet to see a major part of that strategy play out. It was an exciting opening stint in this one. It'll be 100 laps to go this time by the start-finish line. Cody Gibson's number 7 Toyota, 2 tires under the caution flag, going up against James Krahula topside with 4, Chase Cabry with 4, Jamie Walker with 4, everybody else going to be looking to pounce. We'll see what that 7 truck can do, mainly on the restart, because he'll be the control truck at a turn number 4. Pace car going to get down to the way to the safety of pit road. How long do you wait to the American Ethanol Go Zone? Green flag flies, back underway in Atlanta.
That was a quick green flag right there as the leader, Cody Gibson. Whoa, huge trouble! Right now, truck in the air, I believe. Oh, man, that was a huge one.
Big wreck on the front. Straight away, the caution flag is out. Ricky Harden is heavily damaged, but the truck that went up and over was George Hendricks in the number 34 Chevrolet. Coming to the green, a small checkup, and I think it's a combination of the checkup and missing a gear, because there's a lot of backfire coming out of that truck, maybe in a first gear or something because it was spitting fire, or was in a very low third or fourth gear. But the 34 truck is slow. He gets tagged, goes up and over into the catch fencing, and I mean, he sails across the start-finish line, and a huge multi-truck accident involves the 34. It looks like as well the 99, the 75, the 93, 57, 35, 24, and 98, just to name a small few of them that were involved.
And how about Dominic Dyball? He was able to get it woed down barely in time in that 69 truck, but he was able to get it slowed down just enough. But a great job by Dom there to get it slowed down and not get in that wreck. But yeah, that was what I believe Rosenau likes to call big junk right there.
And I think with Dominic Dyball avoiding contact in that, he is in a position to maybe walk away with the lucky dog. We'll have to see if he is given an incident counter for bringing that car to a stop, as maybe a loss of control on the sim for spinning it a little bit sideways. In the meantime, though, Chase Cabri took him no time to get to the race lead. He leads James Carhula, Jamie Walker, Cody Gibson, and Daniel E. Eberhardt inside the top 5, just shy of lap 25 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. LSRTV going to step away for a brief moment. We'll be back for the restart. You're watching the Georgia Peaches 180 for the United Sim Racing Truck Series on LSRTV and iRacing Live.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Domino's TYJ Racing League is proud to announce we are now taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season going green January 2016. At Domino's TYJ Racing League, you get paid cash, not gift cards or die casts. Cold, hard cash. You get paid for finishing 1st through 20th in our championship and 1st through 3rd, plus a lucky dog bonus in all of our 20 races, plus other cash bonuses. You're going to like the way you look. All the way to the bank. I guarantee it. Purse amount approximate, paid cash or iRacing bucks. Drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. Apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for our league.
And join our preseason Thunder tryout races Saturday nights at 8 p.m. to the end of 2015 to see if you have what it takes to make the cut and some cash.
Back live as the lights on top of the pace car are extinguished at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. It is going to be Chase Cabri's number 39 car leading us back to the green flag with 25 laps down and 95 laps to go at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're watching the United Sim Racing Truck Series Georgia Peaches 180. It's round 11 of 12 of the inaugural Truck Series campaign, and it is championship leader Jamie Walker by 39 points over Cody Gibson into tonight for the title. Jamie Walker at this moment is running third on track. As for your challenger in the points, Cody Gibson back in 17th position. If this race were to finish as they run now, Jamie Walker would secure the Season 1 points championship as of tonight. The pace car going to go down, though. Still 95 laps and still plenty of racing left to be decided. There's 29 drivers on the lead lap after that melee on the last one. We'll do it again. Pace car down to the way. It's our first American Ethanol restart on the night, and they make it. Through the tri-oval they go, getting them up to speed, and a great jump for Chase Cabri. He set sail as they're left to fight for third on back.
Yeah, Cabri got a great jump right there, but two trucks battling for position. I saw the 91 and the 97 of X. That was X and Gottschalk. They got a little physical there as they're heading into one. A little bit of contact there, but able to make it back through. Meanwhile, the first battle I'm seeing is that big pack there. Kind of for P2, you see Krahula and Walker. They're starting to pull away, but right now 3 wide behind them now. Back in that second pack.
And that's that 91 going backwards. It's Gottschalk, and they're going to do a good job of not squeezing him to the outside wall. There it is, contact! He is going to go around Steve Gottschalk into the outside wall. The caution flag will fly. That was the quickest spin you can get in 1 and 2, and because of that, really there wasn't no opportunity for Gottschalk to slide down the hill. He keeps it up there. It'll be a 1-truck caution, but man, that escalated quickly as they went down to turn number 1. They didn't pinch him into the corner, which was good. This starts, though, on the bottom of the racetrack with the 82 of Chris Baines. Gets in there a little bit hot. Back into that truck begins to rotate around. When it does that, it clips the 36 of Sal Accardi. Sal gets sent up the hill. I mean, that the 91, of Steve Gottschalk got turned around so quickly. Driver's side first into the outside wall, and that car just got stuck up there in the fence.
And a little bit of net code also add into that mix, but yeah, the 91 got spun up so quickly, there wasn't really anyone else in that wreck. He was able to, and because he was on the outside, he was able to keep it up there, so great job by him not to roll it back down the track and maybe get more trucks torn up. But right now, that's going to put us back under caution. Do want to comment, one truck who did not make it out of the last wreck, that was the 93 Eric Wortley. He is on the rollback right now, sitting on pit road.
Hendricks 2 laps down into number 34. He is still on the racetrack. Jeff Gilmore has retired from this one, as well as has Aaron Grosskopf in 33rd and 34th. Car in the lucky dog position for this would have been Ryan Keese's number 24. The wave by on a previous yellow has already gone back to the 69 of Dominic Dieball. He is back on the lead lap. Leaders decide not to come down to the pit lane for the second caution in a row. Have not gotten one green flag lap in since those opening 17 laps of this race. 2 quick cautions very quickly slow down the pace of this Georgia Peaches 180. Looks like the top 20 drivers or so stay out on track. Couple of guys towards the back half of the lead lap coming down to the pit lane. They'll get fresh tires, they'll get fuel. There's no limit to how many sets of tires you can get in this kind of intermediate racing, unlike what you would see in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series and a lot of the short track stuff we also see here on iRacing. As many tires as you want, you're at the back of the pack. Come down, get them, get fuel. Why not? Because it could work for you in the end.
And I really like the call made by Daniel Eberhardt as well as Mike Rominger and the rest of those guys. They came down and got tires. And you know what? I really like that call because that means these guys, we, like you said, we haven't had a lot of green flag runs, but, a restart and just pacing around, it's not nothing, Evan. And, a little bit fresher tires. And we saw how, it was like you flipped a switch and these trucks just went from like fine to loose. So, maybe you're just pushing that boundary a little bit more, but a couple more trucks are going to come down. Those are some lap trucks, but I do like the call made by the 90 truck as well as that Jimmy John's machine of the 31.
It was exciting inside of those opening 15 laps, but once we got to, I think, about lap 16, 17, and 18, right in about that range, maybe a little bit sooner, it just went all over the place, and these guys were sliding up the hill. They were getting tight. There was a plethora of things going on with these trucks, and everybody was struggling to handle. We had like 4 or 5 near incidents in 1 or 2 laps. Finally, an incident that triggered the first caution flag. Now we work under our third. And again, that restart came with 100 laps to go in this race, and we're still looking at 90 to go this time by, so 2 very quick cautions have slowed things down. The first 3 races that we've been able to cover, so through rounds 7, 8, and 9, or rather 8, 9, and 10 through tonight, 11 and 12, so to go on the season, have been extremely exciting. Kentucky, a very good race. Talladega, a thriller with the top 8 cars within 0.2 of a second of each other, and as well Charlotte, a very good one. For an inaugural season, and I was talking with some of the USR admins here, there's a lot of big names in this series that you might recognize from official racing on iRacing, as well as some of the hosted stuff and other league things as well. For an inaugural season, the 5 races that we're going to be covering, and so far 3 of them have been absolutely spectacular. We expect tonight to be the same. A little bit of a rocky patch here, but there is still your major championship players in it. There's still plenty of trucks on the racetrack, and there's still plenty of time to get this one cranked up.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look down the team list right now. Team Steel Horse Racing, we've heard that name before. Who else we got here? Wood Wrench, those guys are big and hosted right now. We also got names, Daniel E. Eberhardt, also Steve Gottschalk, George Hendricks, a lot of these big guys, Scott Simley. You know, these are names we've heard a couple times on LSRTV. And, you know, these guys know how to mix it up. They aren't rookies.
Restart will come with still 30 trucks on the lead lap. It'll be Chuck Eisenbarth who goes behind the wall recently here. The drivers that are out of this race, Aaron Grosskopf, Jeff Gilmore. Eric Wortley is still on pit road, 9 laps down. Not officially out of this race, but at this point, not a whole lot left to fight for. George Hendricks is out there. He got the EOL penalty for the caution flag most recently. 31st position and 2 laps to the negative. The pace car going to make that sharp left-hand turn. Race leader, how about the number 39 of Chase Capri inside of the racetrack? He's got to wait till they hit the restart zone. It's his now. Green flag flies back at it in Atlanta. Small checkup on the inside of the racetrack. Slows up about rows 3, 4, and 5, but they're dead side by side to turn 1. Capri on the inside, top side for James Krahula. The 25 Chevy jumps down in line behind.
And Krahula got a much better restart on that restart there than he had the last couple ones, able to keep up with Capri. Capri had been leaving him in the dust the last 2 restarts, but now he's right on that back bumper right now as Capri's way under attack. But in the meantime, first 2 wide battle, that's Ryan on the outside in the 6. He's trying to put up a fight there with the 97 of X, but he's still going backwards. That outside line really hasn't been able to get it done outside of 1 or 2 different times I've seen so far.
And X on the number 97 machine makes the move at the bottom. Look up front, though, to the inside of the racetrack. The 25 of James Krahula. Power move as he keeps those left side tires on the white line off the corner. Typically, you get to swing that truck wide. Well, that number 25 had it hooked up. He forced his way to the inside, and now Jamie Walker in the grass as he got to the inside on the 39 of Capri. Capri shut the door. Now Capri to the inside on Krahula. Contact for 1 and 2. The 25 gets swirly. He saves it. Talk about getting physical inside of the top 3.
Yeah, he was black. That was just a way down block there. Did not want Capri to get by him or get that inside line, and they were able to keep it straight somehow. I have no idea how they did that. Meanwhile, the 33 at Bennett's got pushed up to the outside. He's trying to make it work against the 97X, so he's going to have to go to work here as they head back down into 1. Meanwhile, another big hornet's nest right now. They're 3 wide. The 35 of Joshua King just got a tap from the 90 of Eberhardt. And Eberhardt's starting to come through the pack. Meanwhile, the 16 of Ritter, he's right on the back bumper of the 90. Got a huge run off of 2.
Tries to close in the challenge for that position back outside of the top 5, and it's the outside for Joshua King in that number 35, who was going backwards at this juncture. That was the first side-by-side fight on track. They're dueling it out now for P10. The 2 of Rhett McBride's got it. The 82 of Chris Baines wants it. The Do Shine Chevy going to get that spot on the inside in turn number 1. Off the corner through the back straightaway. Joe Dinsmore gets his number 95 Chevy to the bottom. He'll challenge now for 11. So Cody Gibson back to 12th, maybe 13th and more, because Jody Green and Daniel E. Eberhardt, the next 2 drivers, right there push it on the inside of the racetrack who want to challenge. Battle for the race lead is not done, and Chase Capri into the grass again in the second leg of that dog leg. Through the front straightaway, that second kink in the quad oval. Left side tires in the grass. You talk about digging. We'll go on board with that number 39 Chevy. He's chasing down James Krahula, and these guys aren't backing off one bit.
No, they absolutely are not. But, you know, I got to think Cabri's starting to count off his good graces right now, because you can only do that for so long, Evan. Right now he's going to take a look side. He clips the grass again. I don't know, Evan. You can only do that for so long before something happens.
And we talk about the quad oval. We mentioned it at Charlotte for race number 8, and we talk about it here again. It's not a progressive left-hand turn. There's 2 distinct straights. You go in and out of turn number 4. There's a distinct left-hander. Start, finish on another distinct left-hander. You talked about the move that Cabri made to be able to go to the inside of the racetrack there down the front stretch. Well, that's how Krahula got him. Instead of going wide off a 2, where you normally go, the 25 held it to the bottom, that's what Cabri's trying to do back to him. Keep that car on the inside, and when that natural line brings that guy in front of you up off of the white line, you take advantage right there. You go to arc the corner. He tries to get advantage of him, jump to the inside. The 25 mirror driving, though, not taking any of it, and that 39 Chevy's got to watch that white line because it can get ugly real quick if you cheat that too much. Got a little bit loose, but he's staying in the draft.
Yeah, 39 is basically locked onto the back bumper of that 25 now. You could just see he's just trying to get past him now. But he did something I like there. He was able to run a little bit higher on the track. But now we got the caution out. And I'm looking, I see the 22, the 95 of Dinsmore, and the 90 of Eberhardt. What happened there, Evan?
The caution is out. It all starts with the number 95 of Joe Dinsmore into the corner. Looks like he had a little bit of help going around the 90 of Daniel E. Eberhardt on the inside of the racetrack. Just goes up a little bit too much and taps the left rear, left driver's side door of Joe Dinsmore. Those 2 trucks get hooked together. Eberhardt gets sideways. He spins it out and gets tipped in the right rear after it looked like he was going to be okay by the driver of the number 31. So Mike Rominger picks up a piece of that damage. The truck that I first saw spinning, that 95 machine of Dinsmore, left side pretty beat up as well as rear end damage. He got hit from behind by Jody Green. After that contact, Jody Green as well hit by Steve Ritter. So a lot of trucks get damaged one way or another from this accident after not only those first 2 trucks got together, but a lot of guys accordioned up trying to avoid it.
Yeah, and one truck I see smoking right now is that 99 of Jody Green. That truck is pretty torn up right now, and I do believe he was involved in that big checkup we had at the start-finish line. So I don't know if he still has that fast repair. If he does, he's going to have to use it now. As looks like a lot. I think, yeah, that's the whole field right now is coming down pit road.
Leaders in at lap number 42, still shy of the halfway point by about 18 laps, and Krahula, the first driver in, back down to the number 1 pit stall, should give him a big advantage on the race off the pit lane for qualifying on that pole position with the 29.340 in our single car qualifying session earlier tonight. It'll be 4 tires, fuel, and go. Not the first driver off, though, the 7 of Cody Gibson. Second time tonight, he goes with 2.
You know, he made it work. He was able to lead a couple laps there. Definitely got his lap led, but to do it again, I don't know. He got lucky with that quick caution. I don't know if that's going to be the strategy call. They were out there a lot longer than they were before when he tried that last time. I don't know if that's going to work for the 7 of Gibson, but he's got to try something to get up there and race with Walker.
And Cody Gibson, a driver that started 11th, and you talk about being in a desperate position, trying to get points on Jamie Walker. You need those bonus points, evidently. He has that 1 bonus point for leading a lap. The next objective would be to get a bonus point for leading the most laps, but I don't think you're going to be able to beat out guys with 4 tires for leading the most laps because, again, the last time the 7 stayed out and took 2 tires, he was the leader. We wrecked after about 200 meters across the start-finish line, Cisco, and he had already fallen to 4th at that time. So the 2 tires was not very friendly the first go-around. We'll see what he can do this time. Krahula going to be to his outside. Cabri right behind. Christian X outside of row 2 and 4th. And then Jamie Walker in 5th position, the name that he is chasing down in that hunt for the championship. The finale round on this inaugural USR Truck Series campaign takes us to the Irish Hills of Michigan in the virtual Michigan International Speedway for the Pure Michigan 210. Live next Saturday night on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Coverage beginning just prior to 10 o'clock Eastern Time as we get set to crown an inaugural USR Trucks Championship only on LSR TV. Continuing to work through round number 11. We're shy of halfway. I don't expect to see this many cautions, Cisco, in the second half of the race. And I know I always say that once we stop counting up and we start counting down, They're going to be getting at each other a little bit more, but I feel like we're still in a position, maybe not all the way through green flag pit stops, but at least another 20-25 lap run in the books until the tires really begin to fall away. Couple of cautions here and still working under that. And a lot of it is, again, we talk about how this racetrack's 24 degrees of banking. It's not progressive banking, so you wouldn't think the outside's a place to be. And again, as I said earlier, it's not a preferred lane to pass at or be, but because this track is just so fast, there's grip almost anywhere. It allows these guys to go 2 and 3 wide, and the problem is early, 40 laps into a race, even 20 laps into the race, if we're talking about earlier on tonight, Cisco, if you want to take it easy, you can back off, but the guys around you aren't going to back off, and you're going to go from a top 10 spot to outside the top 15. So once somebody pushes the issue, everybody else has to, and that's why you're stuck in this, where these restarts have been off the wall tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, talking about that top line, that's not really where you want to be, but kind of just above the car you're following, you'll get the draft off them. You talked about before how you can't really leave someone you're racing here, and kind of, if you run a little bit higher than the guy you are racing, you'll get a huge run coming off these big turns, and that could really, and we saw Cabri trying to do it to the 25 of Krahula there, so keep an eye out for that. Just running maybe half a lane up from the guy in front of you're racing.
Cody Green was involved in that accident at least a second or third time tonight, so the number 99 goes behind the wall. George Hendricks takes a wave by. He is now just 1 lap to the negative back in 30th. Pace car going to get down. Cody Gibson in control to the American Ethanol Go Zone we go. Lap 44 in the books, 45 in the works. Green flag flies back and away we go at Atlanta. James Krahula to the inside of the racetrack from the outside lane. The 25 will be P2. The 39 of Cabri fights for P3 at a 2, and he'll get that spot over top of that 97 of Christian X, who slides back on the outside.
Yeah, right now, these guys are starting to line up a little bit. We'll have to see if they can get a run on the 7. Right now, Krahula's going to take a look to the inside. Gibson comes down to block him right there. It's not going to be this time, but Krahula has a huge run on the 7. Going to dive way to the inside, try and get a nose. Not this time. Cody shuts the door on them as they head through the tri-oval right now. Krahula is a big run right now, but he's going to have to check up and maybe try and get a run out of the corner, and maybe try and go where that 7 truck isn't. I don't think he can get it done on the inside, but there he goes, actually moves the 7 out of the way. He's going to go the inside of Gibson now as they head into 3.
They were so close through 1 and 2, and that is the exact move that James Krahula put on Chase Cabri. Ride the bumper, and don't swing high off the corner. Get the inside lane. It may not give you a run, but if you keep the nose to turn 3, it works. That's what he does. So Cody Gibson gets 2 laps led out of that. Now it's stuck up on the outside of the racetrack as the number 25 at the bottom gets clear. The 39 of Chase Cabri as well will follow suit. He'll go to second. Jamie Walker following on the inside. Those are your 2 championship leaders side by side for third on track at the moment. An obvious advantage has to go to the inside of the racetrack for Walker. He should get the 7, and it looked like he was going to go to the inside on Cabri. That door was shut, though, as soon as the 39 realized he pushed up a little bit. That 7 not giving up, though. The 2 tires, pretty good for being on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. He might be taking care of those tires a little bit by running the outside, but we kind of have a bit of a hornet's nest forming here with that 7, and Cabri's kind of leading it. Now Walker's going to dive the inside of Gibson there. That's crucial right there. Of course, we're talking about this points race. That's our point leader going past the guy he's trying to outrace right now, the 7 car, or the 7 truck, I should say, Gibson. But that's a pretty, that's, as Rick Allen would say, chase implications right there.
And that 7, he's forced into this strategy by being so far behind that he knew that if he continued to run around P11, which is where he qualified, which is about where he practiced, it wouldn't be enough. So he had to try something. He got the bonus points for the laps led, something that Jamie Walker does not have. But he's got to focus now on beating him in the race. Look at the move for the race lead. Cabri to the inside. That door is shut and in the grass again. He tried to set him up as he looked to the outside at the start-finish line, ducked to the bottom when the 25 reacted to that first move. That door was again shut, and I know that number 39 Clean Energy Chevrolet and Chase Cabri's got to leave on it, but it's is very friendly with the front straightaway grass. He's been in there quite a lot tonight, getting those left side tires down into some of that front stretch grass. He's going for it. He wants to win. We've talked to him on the season with a trip to victory lane earlier on. Not in this championship conversation. He is here to win races. James Krahula as well, not inside of a position inside of the top 10 in the championship. He is here to win races, and that is why that 25 and 39 putting on a hard driving clinic up front. Walker wants to join the conversation, though. Your championship leader is joining them, and if they continue to race as hard as they have been, Cisco, I'm not sure if I'd like to put myself in that position as a guy that's points racing.
I know a position I don't want to be in right now is they were just about 3 wide back in about the 17th position right there. Eberhardt's coming back through the field and Brett McBride, but I saw they were 3 wide off it too, and yeah, I'm seeing a lot of this. Eberhardt just did it right there to the 79 at Wood, but a lot of we keep talking about it, that kind of nose to the bottom to kind of move the guys out of the way. We're seeing it right now as the 39's trying to maybe get a run on here, but I haven't seen a lot of that outside. I've seen a lot of stick the nose in, move the guy, and get that bottom line. That's been the move of choice tonight for most of these drivers.
The 7 of Cody Gibson is still stuck topside. He's still P5 for the moment. He'll lose that spot, though, as the 6 machine ducks in line. He is still up on the outside as a big run. Oh, contact! There goes the 39. Chase Cabri sideways in turn 4. He saves it. 3 and 4 wide. It's a bottleneck out of the corner. Everybody gets on the binders, and somehow, not only does Chase Cabri save that race truck, but we don't have a major accident, and we're not out of the clear yet, because Cabri falls back 2 spots to P4. It is still a hornet's nest behind him down the backstretch, but you see that replay. They did this about 3 or 4 times. Tried to duke out the 25 of Krahula once, twice, 3 times. Eventually, Krahula shut the door again, and it turned that 39 truck sideways miraculously, though nobody goes around.
And X jumps all the way. I think he was running 5th or 6th right there. He's running 2nd right now. He's pointing behind the leader, but he's got a truck with, for all intents and purposes, clean air right now, and that's going to help that truck out. We haven't talked about him much today, but he started 10th. He's up to 2nd right now. But right now he's got the points leader breathing down his neck in the 17 truck. But I have no idea how they didn't wreck right there. You know, you're that sideways at Atlanta. That's usually disaster, but a great save there by Cabri.
And Jamie Walker was right there behind him. I just said, as the 17, as aggressive those guys had been racing, I don't know if I want to be in that spot. He is very fortunate and should probably go shake Chase Cabri's hand after this race, because if that 39 overcorrects, Jamie Walker is out of this race, and after a bad finish at Kentucky from an accident 1 week ago, a gap that was over 50 points in the championship with 3 to go could be down to 20, if not down in the high teens, if he's in that accident. He dives up to the fence. He's not involved. It now makes a pass on that 97 to Christian X. So X falls back to 4th. The 17 takes 2nd from him, and then immediately following behind, the 39 to Cabri takes 3rd from him. That was a big gamble for applying the pressure, and very fortunate situation for Jamie Walker to still be clean there in P2.
Absolutely. Right now we had a truck go a little bit off-roading on the last lap there. Tommy Ryan basically drove it through the grass on that first turn in the tri-oval, managed to save it, but that's a hornet's nest right now. Gibson's kind of holding some of these trucks up considering he's on 2 tires, but he's putting up one heck of a fight as we see the 15 of Hardin jump to his outside right now. But Gibson, you know, we've been green for a while right now, and it's starting to go the other way on that 2 tires. He's starting to slide way back.
And he wants to hang on there till these guys on 4 tires start to lose the handle, and then they would begin to get balanced out. But again, he's not so slow to the point where you can just blow by him. But again, that 7 was falling back on the outside. Now that he has the preferred lane on the inside of the racetrack, it's that much harder to pass it. I mean, he just slides up right on the nose of the 6 of Tommy Ron, and I am sure that Northern Tool and Equipment Chevrolet did not appreciate that one, to say the least. He is still up there, and that 7 using up the 36 and the 6 behind him. Just in front, that 50 to Ricky Hardin was able to make a move. So these guys battling outside of the top 4. P2, 3, and 4 are 1 second off of the race leaders. They run in a group amongst themselves. That's Jamie Walker, Chase Cabri, and Christian X. James Krahula's gone by 1.2 seconds in the race lead over the nearest competitor. And then we go back to that big battle that we're following here for P5 on back.
Yeah, right now, and Harden's kind of taken that outside line. Ryan's now been able to get her.
Oh, he's in the
trouble!
fence.
15 in the wall. He was able to save it. The 6
the
goes to the
7
grass.
car.
Gibson down the bottom. Oh, he's going off road, and he saves it. Get to the
Got
bottom.
it.
He
He got
saved it.
hit because top saw it. We saw that 15 of Harden get in the fence. The 36 truck came down reacting to that. Salicardi got into Cody Gibson, who saves it, but he's damaged. He is very slow. That is a huge hit in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. He did one heck of a job saving that truck, though. Had a little Dukes of Hazzard action there, caught some air, but a great save by the 7 truck. But he's lost basically any ground he was hoping to make up on 2 tires, and I gotta start thinking, maybe start running the strategy through your head, maybe short pit or something like that. You're this far back, you gotta try something, Evan.
From leading at the restart to being inside of the top 5, the contact knocks Cody Gibson back to 27th position as Jamie Walker rides in second. That's a point differential of at least 25 points. That would make the gap 64 outside of tonight's race. That would lock this up for Jamie Walker. Gibson has gambled so far tonight, and he may have to continue to gamble if he wants to get back in this race. We're past the halfway point, though, at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Lap 63 of 120 in the works right now. The Georgia Peaches 180. Let's take a look at our iRacing.com midway race break as we pass the halfway point. Presented by iRacing.com, the leader in motorsport simulations and the official sim racing partner of NASCAR. James Kahula, your leader at this moment, started on pole and leads by 1.1 seconds in front of championship leader Jamie Walker, who started 4th tonight, P2. Chase Cabry runs in 3rd. Christian X is 4th. Salicardi 22nd to 5th for the number 36 machine. A great run so far tonight. Tommy Ryan is P6 on track. Just behind him in 7th is Ricky Harden, who is 3 wide with Bobby Terrell in 8th and Aaron Bennett in 9th. And behind them, Dominic Dyball P10.
Daniel Eberhardt took 4 tires on that last stop. He's made his way back up to 11th. Behind him, Steve Ritter's been following him all the way through. He's running 12th. Scott Simley, there's a name we've heard before. He's up to 13th. Dan Murray, he's running 14th. Mike Romicher's running 15th. 16th to Brian Bible, and Joel Wood's going to be in 17th. A little bit of heart stopper moment for those guys as a truck on the wall. That was Rhett McBride. He's right now in 18th right now. That pack's been split up. Greg Mall's running 19th, and Jason Swan is running 20th.
Stephen Herring is 21st. 22nd is Cody Gibson. 23rd, Joshua King. Chris Baines in 24th. And Ryan Keese in 25th position after starting from the pit lane. Steve Gottschalk, P26, is down to the pit lane for service. First driver 1 lap down in 27th is George Hendricks. And the drivers from here on out, multiple laps down. Joe Dinsmore, Mark Allen, Rusty Farrell round out the top 30. This has been your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of racing possibilities on the web, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. Pit strategy comes to the forefront. The 7 Cody Gibson contact. He is slow and through the grass at a turn number 4. Your championship challenger came over the radio, said he would be coming down pit road, and got hit by the 22nd place truck in Joshua King. Misses pit road, is heavily damaged. That might be the final nail in his coffin, and it comes from a driver running outside the top 20.
Yeah, that just stinks right there for the 7 right now. He's still on track. He's going around turn 3 right now. But he goes from maybe losing about a lap to losing probably around 2 laps here because he has to slow down yet again, or at least a lap and a half. But here he comes down pit road right now. Huge damage to the rear of that 7 truck. But we got a wreck right now. I'm hearing the 16 over the radio. That's X in the 97. He was running 5th, and he's got a lot of smoke from that truck.
17 truck also involved. That is Jamie Walker, your other championship leader. Heavy damage on the number 17 Chevrolet. He will come down the pit road, wreck now on the racetrack, and it's all the guys all over the place they go. The 69 tries to hang on. We're slow in turn 1. The 5 of Dan Murray. His car is junked. He will coast to a stop after contact in front of him with Dominic Dyball and Aaron Bennett. Still no caution. And the big names that we need to focus on in this, and a lot going on right now, but we talked about the 7 Cody Gibson, damaged, back out on track. It's just handed to Jamie Walker. However, Jamie Walker involved in an accident. He is damaged. Good news for that 17 though, Cisco, is his contact comes in 3 and 4. He gets to pit road, he gets a quick fix, and he's right back out there. Probably not going to lose as much time as the 7 did in his exchange.
No, but he is going to lose a little bit of time right there. But there is a lot of different incidents there for people trying to get down to pit road. And pit road is such a quick entry here. I mean, it's like you're coming off of 4. You got to be really careful and get that truck woed down. But there was all sorts of, carnage going on right there. Or taking a look at the replay, or just took a look at the replay. But we'll have to sort out the field from here because there were a bunch of trucks involved, and that's really going to shake up who's going to be in the top 5 now.
And I have no idea how there was no caution flag automatically triggered by the sim. You had one car spinning in 3 and 4, somebody else in the grass. You had 3-4 trucks involved in turns 1 and 2. Somehow, this race stays green. And with that, it is Chase Cabri in the race lead and Salicardi up to 2nd.
Yeah, right now, and Chase Cabri just came over the radio, told Salicardi he's paying this time, and also here comes the 36
Cardi's coming in, he
as well as
overshot
the
it.
6, and the 36 takes out the cone. We'll have to see if that's a penalty for the 36 of Cardi, but that was our top 4 coming down right now.
Yeah, Cardi came in from 2nd, and I think he came down once Cabri said that he was coming down. I think it was more of an audible call. Takes out the pit road cone. Depending on where that car was to that scoring line, he may be penalized. We will see as we wait for Salicardi. No, he will not be penalized. So he is good. Meanwhile, for Chase Cabri, your race leader, he overshoots his pit stall a little bit. That's going to put at least a 2-second delay on his service, and Cardi will beat him out of the pit lane, followed by the 6 car in 3rd. That is as well Tommy Ryan.
Well, this has definitely been an eventful set of green flag pit stops right now. We'll have to see who's going to be the leader here, because I believe those were the last couple trucks who have to make a stop. I'm looking at the lap board right now. Joel Wood, no, there's a couple more trucks that haven't gone the pits yet, but Joel Wood just came over the radio. He said he's going to be pitting Ricky Harden. He's right now our leader, but he's going to come down this time, so this should be... Oh, he gets a little loose right there, the 15 fishtails. And so does the 79, who almost gets in the traffic, but they make it down to pit road safely. Here comes the 98 of Herring.
He's way in hot. He'll spin and into the inside wall goes Steve Herring, 38th on the grid tonight, running in the side of the top 5 on the cycle of pit stops. Overshot pit road by 28 miles an hour.
And he's going to miss his
that
pit
truck
stall
into the fence. He's damaged. He's going to have to put it in reverse if he wants to get to his stall, and he'll do so. So all of these delays on top of a time penalty. Talk about this race falling apart just like that. Jason Swan is now our race leader. He comes in for service, and it looks like he's got a clean entry.
Well, oh boy. We're looking at the lap board right now. We'll try and figure out who your leader is, because honestly, I have no idea. There's so much going on right now. But right now, the lap board is showing Jason Swan still is the leader. We're waiting to see who comes around to take that away. I think it's the 25 of Krahula. He's going to be our leader here.
Jason Swan may still be shown on the scoring pylon, but he's in for service. It will be James Krahula to take over the race lead. 1.6 seconds in front of Chase Cabri in 2nd, Salicardi in 3rd. Once the scoring cycles through, it would be Tommy Ryan P4 and Bobby Terrell P5 to round out the top 5. And at this juncture, now just 45 laps to go at Atlanta. After 10, 15, 20 laps on the tires, it broke out again, and we got more than that to the finish. Question A would be, can they make it to the end in 45 laps on a 60% fuel cell? And with that, how are the tires going to be? That's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on, as Krahula's lead is getting chopped down every single lap. Cabri and Accardi coming quick in 2nd and 3rd to challenge.
Yeah, and I think... if I were these guys, I'd feel like if it was going to be close on field, I'd say come down and get those tires just so you could race a little bit harder. Because once you hit that 15, we saw what happened if you try and run with these tires the way they are. They just fly right off the truck, and, you're ice skating around this place. But right now, it looks like Accardi and the 39 of Cabri, they're kind of working together a little bit, kind of running each other with a little bit of room because they just want to get up to that leader right now. And we saw the 93 of Wortley hit the wall in front of our leader. Meanwhile, 6 of Ryan, he's kind of on his own right now. He's running 4th. Terrell, he's running 5th right now. And then behind them is X and 6, who, remember, was in that wreck for during the green flag pit stops was able to make it back around with a lot of smoke down the 93 down the apron. But, you know, he was able to actually make a great recovery from being in all that mess.
Eric Wortley caught the fence on his own after being passed by that P5 machine and Bobby Terrell. He ducked to the apron to get out of the way, and it does not look like he is looking to blend back up. That might be his night, as he's already running 52 laps down, and it looks like that he's probably going to roll it back to the garage. His night may come to a close. Chase Cabri, Sal Liccardi pitted after James Krahula, so the tires are a little bit fresher. They brought the gap down from about 1 second flat to 8/10, but they're starting to lose that interval at which they have been gaining lap by lap by lap, to the point where it looks like James Krahula should be in control of this race. Where are your championship drivers, though? Jamie Walker ends up in 11th position on the lead lap. Cody Gibson is 21st on the lead lap. That is a 10-point differential. That would make the points 49 points out of this race. Jamie Walker at this moment would win the championship at the checkered flag. Drivers over the radio, though, already starting to talk pit stops again and discussing what happened on that last one. Chase Cabri, one of the drivers in that conversation, he is closing the gap, though. Picked up another 10th that last time. It's down to 7 between him and James Krahula. There's no lap trucks in between them, so he can see him. He can see what he's got to do to get to him.
And these two have been battling it out all day, and I have to say, if it ends up being those two at the end, we're going to have one heck of a battle on our hands, Evan.
It hasn't been a bad blood battle, I don't know, because I think they've been laughing about some of it over the radio. I can't promise you that they're not upset at each other, but, I mean, they have been absolutely going at it. To the inside, shutting doors on each other, using the grass, getting physical at 185 miles an hour at an NASCAR truck. So this is far from over, as that gap now within half of a second for Chase Cabri and James Krahula. Sal Liccardi is falling back from second. It looks like he may fall back to the point where he may lose third, if not fourth, and so on. Tommy Ryan beginning to close, Bobby Terrell beginning to close. So he doesn't have the speed that Chase Cabri has, because he was with Cabri. Cabri leaving him. But Cisco, for a driver that practiced P30, qualified P22, to run inside of the podium right now, that's a pretty damn good job through 84 laps, I'd say. So although he doesn't have the speed as the top two, he has had a spectacular race.
Yeah, absolutely. Sal is definitely one of the underdogs of iRacing. I've raced with him for a little while, raced with him on the plate tracks, and he knows what he's doing, and he does this. He does this. I don't really see him on the practice board, and then you look in your mirror, he's run 4th or 5th right there, and he's from what I've seen, he's started to kind of develop this Kevin Harvick reputation of just being there at the end. We don't talk about him all race, and then bam, there he is.
And the 30 dot Chase Cabri is going to make it a side-by-side fight for the race lead at 35 laps to go. He pulls the move that James Krahula pulled on him to take the lead earlier, and that is hold the truck low at a 2, get the preferred lane down the back, and nab the spot. He does it. 35 left on the board. Chase Cabri back to the race lead. James Krahula left in second to attempt to challenge. Stuck with him in 1, but powering at a 2, and down the back straightaway, Chase Cabri may just have a truck that he can try to run away in this race with. Purcell Surface, one of the drivers slated to start tonight's race, never did after qualifying on a provisional spot and being the 21st fastest truck in practice. He has just received a throughput fall to an unacceptable level. He is officially not going to make a start here tonight. Dominic Dyball, we talked about the 69, lap down early, got back to the lead lap, involved in a couple of accidents after that. The 69 as well has pushed his car behind the wall, and he's done.
Yeah, and that stinks for Dom. He had a great save right there. We're talking about he was involved in that early wreck and then saved from being in the second one, but just couldn't make up the place. And I think he was even involved in some of those green flag pit stops there and a couple of the altercations right there. But right now, Krahula has actually been tracked down by that 36 of Liccardi. Liccardi might have been saving his stuff a little bit to maybe make a charge at these guys as he makes a dive down the inside. And once again, we see it. He gets the inside of the 25 and shoots him to that outside line.
And that's not a move that you make if you're not certain with your truck. I mean, he didn't wait for the door to be open. He worked that 25 machine over, nose to the inside, kept that right front right on the left rear quarter panel of the 25 of James Krahula, take some of the air off of him, use the side draft to make the pass. That's a veteran move by Salicardi. He moves up now to the number 2 spot, and maybe be able to try to get back with Chase Cabri, as that gap now between new second place runner Salicardi and race leader Chase Cabri begins to close. And instead of that 36 falling back, who was losing significant time, and it was all Tommy Ryan and Bobby Terrell flying up on Salicardi, the 36 has turned up the wick. Now he's going forward, and it's James Krahula with the lack of the clean air now starting to fall back into the clutches of Ryan and Terrell, who are still inside of the top 5 and still just 1.6 seconds out of the race lead.
Right now, we're just hearing that Accardi is just a little bit quicker than that 39 of Cabri, so we'll have to see how much do you think? I don't think he's going to try and use up the whole truck trying to catch Cabri, because we'll probably see another set of green flag stops. I feel like even if they could make it, you'll want to come down and get those tires, just because, you don't want to be out there. Right now, Cabri gets a little bit of the apron there. He can't really do that too much, or else he's going to rub it off. Right now, we're seeing Krahula is under attack from that 6 of Ryan as they head down the backstretch.
30 laps to go at Atlanta. It is Chase Cabri in front. Salicardi refusing to quit. The number 36, he's closing in.
And right now, Rhett McBride just spun it off pit road as they were coming in to start green flag pit stops right there. Huge problems for that number 2 GTR Simulators truck. Well, it looks like and that was the 7 in front of him of Gibson, who barely got it slowed down in time, but behind him, McBride just locked it up.
So Gibson doing the right move as he's trailing in the championship as a short pit. He's lucky that Rhett McBride didn't take him out. That 7 in very hot, not only going to be a speed and penalty, he loses the time for spinning also, so that takes him out of a decent spot. That could have very easily tagged Cody Gibson and ruined his night even more. We take a look at the LSRTV replay, so they do have to make, as I mentioned, with that 60% fuel cell, at least one more trip down to the pit lane, just as Salicardi begins to make Chase Cabri honest about this, closing the gap to 0.2 of a second. Pit stops on the horizon. Now, if you come down pit road, if Chase Cabri pits, if Salicardi pits, you have to come down, because if somebody inside of the top 5, top 10 pits, and you stay out for just one more lap, that's at least 1.5 to 2 seconds. You're losing just like that. Who comes down pit road first and forces these other guys to show their cards and come down also? It's a waiting game now between the top 5 drivers, at least all the way throughout the top 10, really, in a spot that they could force somebody to make a move.
Yeah, right now, as we're still seeing, Accardi has caught up pretty much. He's about 2 truck lengths off the leader right now, but I'm hearing Ryan and Krahula both may decide to come down pit road, so they're going to try and gain a little bit of time on the leaders. Now we'll have to see, are the leaders going to come down this time? Brian Bible in the 44, he said he's coming down this time, but do we see him in this time?
The guys that come down pit road were 2 seconds behind your race leader. That's about the time that you lose from staying out on old tires. Chase Cabri, full throttle out of 4. So is Salicardi. They're fighting amongst themselves. You have to come down probably this next lap. And if you don't want to lose any more time, those 2 trucks, Tommy Ron as well as his teammate Ricky Harden, both coming out of the pit lane at this moment. Cabri over the radio saying he'll be coming down pit road. The 36 of Salicardi right behind him. The 36 may just follow him down. That's what he did the last time.
And here they come out of 4 right now. You got to be kind of on that brake pedal as you pass those billboards. But clean entry to Cardi's going to get a lot of time there. And basically pulls alongside Cabri. That was a great stop by Accardi.
I think it was more of a wreck that never happened. It works out for him because he does not speed, I don't think. He passed him on the outside into pit road. He didn't get in the grass. He didn't hit the cone. Let's see. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for Salicardi. Where is he off of the pit lane? Does that help him at all? Remember, he's way back in pit stall number 22. Caution flag flies as your race leaders are on pit road. It's a spin at a turn 2, and it's Cody Gibson. Gibson going to get tagged from behind as he sits stationary in the middle of the track. he got turned by the 79 of Joel Wood, who was running in 4th at that time, at a night where Cody Gibson needed to be perfect continues to spiral out of control.
Yeah, it looks like Wood just got tight coming out of the corner there. I don't think he had pitted for tires yet, and he just got tight, and just the 7 was just up there where, you know, he needed that room, and just wrong place, wrong time right there for Cody Gibson.
And Gibson's not giving him any room, to be fair, too. The 7's got to go, but it is on the inside of the racetrack, the car that slides up and tags Cody, and he spins it out. And this is going to be a mess to sort out because there was a lot of guys down on pit road that may lose a lap. There's a couple of guys that were on the pit lane based on where they crossed the start-finish line. That's a big difference when you're talking about Salicardi in the number 22 pit stall to a Chase Cabri in the number 5 pit stall when that caution comes out. Could be on the lead lap or not the lead lap. Ricky Harden is going to come down to the pit lane as your race leader. There was a lot to sort out, though, at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This caution will bridge us past lap number 100. We'll be within inside of the final 20 laps before we decide the Georgia Peaches 180 winner. With that, we step away. We go LSRTV nonstop as the officials take care of all of the scoring and get us set to get back underway for what could be one final restart. You're watching United Sim Racing Truck Series on LSRTV at iRacing Live. We'll be back for the race to the checkered flag in Hotlanta in a moment. We're back live at Atlanta. It is Salicardi in front of the field, Chase Cabri in second. Those two drivers that were on the pit lane, they did not get trapped down there. And that crazy entry to the pit lane by Salicardi is going to give him equal tires too and a shot at winning the Georgia Peaches 180 Restart on tap with 19 laps to go at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Lights off, doubled up, and we get set to go back at it. The pace car going to dive down to the way for what could be the final American Ethanol green flag on the evening. Accardi on the inside, Cabri on the outside, and it's Maltera Hardin inside the top 5. Green flag flies, back and away we go, and nowhere to be found was third place restart for the 114 of Bobby Terrell. Big gap allows Cabri in line.
And Cabri's going to get to that inside line and start to try and make a little bit of headway on the leader right now, but Accardi's got a huge gap. That's 5 or 6 truck legs. We got problems right now. The 24, he's around right now, and that's going to be a caution right there.
Ryan Keese will spin to the apron. The caution flag is out, and that's another restart still to come. Quite an ironic yellow flag as Keese gets turned in the corner by the number 82. I want to say Chris Baines. That 24 single truck accident brings out the yellow, quite in comparison to a couple of multi-truck wrecks we saw earlier tonight that did not trigger any caution flags. Keese spins out rather harmlessly, gets into the inside fence. He is damaged, but a very small accident, all things considered, at a turn number 2. That will slow us down once again. And now you have to think, as a Sal Accardi leading this race, you go into a restart mode. Basically, you're not trying to keep these tires for a 12-lap green flag run to the end. You want 2 more good restarts if you feel like this race is going to get 2 more cautions. And based on what we saw after we got the first caution flag earlier in this race, and now that we have one here tonight, cautions ringing very true this afternoon in Atlanta, I feel like the 36 may have to look at it like this. If you're Chase Cabri, you had a good restart there. You got into second behind him, Cisco, but I feel like you might almost have to try to beat him to turn 1, if not be on his outside still, if this race does indeed come down to a couple of sets of restarts here, depending on what happens behind you.
Yeah, I really think that's going to be a strategy here as we see the Lucky Dog's going to go to the 90 of Everhart as he goes on the outside. But yeah, I mean, Cabri, he kind of laid off a little bit on that restart and kind of dropped in behind Accardi there. I don't really like that call here towards the end of this thing. I really think you're right. I think the 39 is going to have to beat the 36 to turn 1 if, you know, we get another caution here. But either way, he's going to want to do that to put up a fight against that 36. We've been talking about it. That outside line really hasn't been the preferred lane to pass. It's definitely been kind of knocking people out of the bottom lane and grabbing it for yourself. That's really been how a lot of these passes we've seen tonight have been done. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting here. Do you think, you know, the 39, he might have a shot here to try and make that outside line work? I mean, we talk about kind of the rubber that's been put down on this track. A lot of that, you know, there's a lot of rubber down in that corner. You know, a lot of these guys, they aren't really running that middle lane. It's all down there. Do you think, you know, maybe the 39 tries to maybe go to, maybe not an extreme high line, but maybe a different line just to try and find some more grip?
I can guarantee you that if somebody's going to dig for it, it'll be Chase Cabri. Again, we go back to the battles that we saw earlier with the 39 and the 25. Well, James Carhula maybe has led the most laps tonight. He's definitely up there. Started on pole. He's in 9th position. Again, all of this rearrangement of the top 10 is because of the fact that that caution flag had flew in the middle of what was the final cycle of green flag pit stops, leading 55 laps so far to this point, and 105 laps, actually 58 laps, the updated number for the driver of that number 25, the next highest driver with 26. So it's been a dominant race, but again, caution comes at an inopportune time. There is no control that you can have over that. So the rearranged top 10 is Sal Accardi and Chase Cabri on the front row, Bobby Terrell 3rd, Ricky Hardin 4th, Greg Mall in P5, Joel Wood in P6. Then you have Tommy Ryan 7th, Christian X 8th, James Carhula 9th, and Jamie Walker 10th. Those were the guys that were running 1, 2, 3, 4 before they came down to the pit lane earlier on in this race. Some of them pitted before the yellow, some of them had to pit under the yellow because they had yet completed their service. And Sal Accardi lucking out with Chase Cabri because they were on pit road. They crossed the start-finish line right before the caution flag came out, so they got their service, and they came right up behind the pace car. You talk about timing it.
Yeah, and I mean the 36 was able to keep it out of the grass right there. They didn't have to go mowing the grass. And but if you need your grass mowed, check out BNC Lawn and Landscaping Service LLC of Frankfort, Delaware. They're a professional, licensed, and insured lawn care service providing grass cutting, turf care, bush trimming, mulching, edging, and snow removal services. Email them today and get into contact at BNC Lawn and Landscaping at yahoo.com.
And BNC Lawn and Landscaping Service LLC, a big part of the United Sim Racing Truck Series as well. The BNC Lawn and Landscaping Championship standings through 10 of 12 races. Jamie Walker by 39 points over Cody Gibson in the race for the inaugural championship. Again, at this moment, Jamie Walker in 10th has had his share of problems. Cody Gibson in 23rd as well. At this moment, and what it's looking like to be just about 15 laps away, is a championship for Jamie Walker to mathematically lock it up here and go into the season finale at Michigan worry-free in search of a second checkered flag on the season. There's still one to be dished out here, and I'll tell you, Sal Accardi, he wants this one bad. He started 22nd. It is his race to lose. He's the control truck for this restart. 15 laps to go. In Hampton, the pace car gets down and away. They wait for the American Ethanol restart box and green flag. Back and away we go. Terrell lays off in third again. Cabri gets to the inside for P2, but not a good restart because Harden even with a better jump on the outside of the racetrack. Small challenge for second. Nothing comes from it on the outside of the racetrack, but Sal Accardi out by 5 truck lengths.
Yeah, and that's the second time Camry's done that, but meanwhile we're seeing battles all over the place. But I think Camry's trying to get to that bottom line, but Accardi's kind of maybe trying to find a little bit of grip here, maybe run a little bigger line, trying to get a little bit more momentum out of his truck. But right now, a huge line of trucks right now, as we're seeing another battle behind those guys for 6 right now. Greg Mall is battling it out with Tommy Ryan. Behind him, James Grahula. He's been hungry all night. He wants to get up there and be in that top 5.
And they're rubbing and banging on each other. There is a lot of physical contact going on behind the top 5, but that's where all eyes need to be. 12 laps to go. This time by at Atlanta. It is Cabri, Terrell, Harden, and Wood, the freight train, at a turn number 4. 4 drivers, nose to tail. They chase down Sal Accardi. It was a .258 second gap, now down to .145. Inside of 2/10 between P1, P2, and it looks like Accardi to the inside to block. He slides up at a 2. Here comes Cabri to the inside.
Yeah, Cardi tried to block him there, but it was such a late block, he just slid right back up the track, and that just leaves the bottom lane wide open for Chase Cabri, as right now, the 114 of Terrell, he's going to dive the inside of Accardi, and right behind him, the 15 of Harden. Where'd he come from? He's all the way up at P4 right now. He's looking to maybe make a race out of this thing.
Harden on the wrong end of the straw there when it came to coming for that final caution flag there during the middle of pit stops, and now is trying to get his way back up and through the field. He looks to the bottom. Look at Bobby Terrell. Shuts the door. So not only is Terrell trying to pass the 36 of Accardi, he's throwing blocks. He'll get that spot. Harden physical to the inside of the racetrack. That'll now be side by side for second. If you're faster, you gotta go. If you're not, you gotta bail out. The longer Harden and Terrell battle, the bigger gap Cabri can get.
Oh, right
now the sideways. Got a turn two.
Saves it.
He will save it on the white line. No caution. He loses a lot of time, though. Terrell's got to run with it now. He's in sole possession of P2.
And right now, I think Terrell's been biding his time a little bit. Here he comes. He's got a good run coming out of the corner there. He's going to look towards the top right now. Cabri, I can't help but think he's going to switch it over. And meanwhile, Cardi's back up to third.
Been a while since we've been able to say it on LSRTV, but here comes Bobby. It's Bobby Terrell, the closer, coming in late at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's on the bumper. Don't look to the inside. Don't give away your move because we know Chase Cabri will shut the door. 8 laps to go. This time by and Accardi, who looked like he was at a steam, is right back in the conversation.
And Terrell looked to the inside there, but Bobby wasn't able to get it this time. Now he's going to look to the inside, and right now Cardi's now on the back bumper of the 114.
You're Bobby Terrell. You can't let that 36 get to your bottom. He moves him up out of the way. Contact. Not enough to get to the bottom. Now he goes inside. Terrell, not only a move to the race lead, but a move to block the 36. We have seen Chase Cabri do this all night with James Krahula. If you're gonna put a move on him, you gotta do it quickly. He won't get a shot though. Accardi to the inside. It's a battle for P2.
And Accardi kind of lost a little bit of momentum, but it'll be enough to get past the 114. There he goes into 1, but he's gonna slide up a little bit. There he goes back down to the bottom there. Here he comes. He's going to clear the 114. No, not quite. The 114 gets the run off the top side. They're side by side, so they head into 3.
Carroll's fast enough to challenge. So is the 36. Contact in turn 3, though. And up the hill goes the Muscle Milk Chevrolet of Carroll from P2 to P5 as the 6 of Tommy Rod makes the move. So does the 25 of James Krahula. And now Krahula to the inside on Ryan for 3rd. That gives Sal Accardi now another breath of hope. He wants the race lead. This time by will be 5 laps to go. A caution flag would end it. You gotta act quickly.
And right now, Accardi is all over the back bumper of that 39, he's looking to see where he can make the move right now. Accardi drives it deep into the corner. He's going to get on the bumper of the 39. Do we see it
Push
here?
him.
No, 5 laps to go here as they head down into turn 1. This is going to be close right now. Ryan, meanwhile, trying to hold off the 25 of Krahula, but Accardi all over the back bumper of the 39 to head through 2.
You can't look to the inside until you're ready to make the move. Chase Cabri is not going to give this one up if he's got a word in it. The 36 is still in line. The 6 is as well. So is the 25 of Krahula. And Bobby Terrell back into P5. A little bit off of the pack, but has a very wide entry to turn 3 for the 6 of Tommy Ron. Opens up the door for Krahula to get 3rd and brings Bobby Terrell back into the conversation. 4 laps to go. Your race leaders bump draft to turn number 1. A lot of contact between the 36 and the 39.
Accardi's trying to get him loose coming out of the corner. Not going to do it this time. He's going to actually loosen himself up. And here comes Krahula. Look at the outside. Accardi goes up the block. Now Krahula down the bottom. But Accardi's going to get a little bit of a run on that top side. He's going to get to the right bit of the back bumper of the 39. Here he comes. Right in the back bumper. Smashes him. 3 to go at the line.
There's a lot of lap traffic, 3, 4 different trucks they gotta get around. This is gonna hurt Sal Accardi because he can't take the arc that he's been doing to get the run off. They both have to enter way down on the bottom of the racetrack that keeps them even. Down the back straightaway. The 25 of James Krahula has yet to make a move for 2nd. Sal Accardi gonna have 2 more laps to get the job done. Popsicle sticks in the air at a turn number 4. 2 laps to go at Atlanta. The gap's half a truck.
And right now, Krahula is going to take a look to the outside of Accardi. That could spell disaster for the 36, but not going to do it into 1. Accardi's trying to look to try and get that run on the bottom, but I don't know if he might have used that truck up towards the end. He's starting to slide a little bit back towards the 25. Here comes Krahula on the outside.
Accardi no longer on the offensive, he's on the defensive. Krahula into the outside wall as the 36 rides him high. That opens up the door for Bobby Terrell to go to the inside. It's side by side for 3rd. White flag in the air though for Chase Cabri.
And right now, Tommy Ryan's here we go. We got trouble. Everhart's around, but it's the white flag. It doesn't matter. No caution here as they head through 2. Accardi's the only one I think who's got a shot on the 39 as they come through the 2.
There's trucks spun and stopped in turn 1. They'll race back to the flag as they took the white. Chase Cabri, 1 final set of corners. The gap, 2 truck lengths. Accardi's going to wind it up, but it won't be enough. Turn 4 for the final time. You can put it in the bank. Checkered flag. Chase Cabri gets the job done. Winner at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Georgia Peaches 180. To the number 39 Clean Energy Chevrolet. Sal Accardi has to settle with 2nd. James Krahula comes home with a 3rd place finish. And all 3 of those drivers and more, with the top 5 finishing within half a second of each other, breathe a collective sigh of relief and for some disappointment after a wild finish at Atlanta. Chase Cabri ends up on top of the scoring pylon.
Yeah, we had about 3 or 4 different wrecks there happen on that last lap. But, you know, they're going to remember the winner. And right now, you know, we're looking right now. Here comes the 39. It's going to pull up to the starter stand, do a couple burnouts. Chase Cabri, your winner here in Atlanta.
He got the job done in which what he came here to do. It was his 3rd start on the season. It is his 2nd win and 3rd top 5. He's here to win races. He showed that tonight, and that is exactly what he did. he holds off and defeats Sal Accardi and James Krahula at the end to win his second race in 2015. The celebration continues on the front stretch, and I'm sure it'll continue on well into the night. We'll step away for a moment, and when we come back, we'll get a word with those drivers involved in that late race battle with the LSRTV post-race show on iRacing Live coming up in just a few. So we'll be back from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Georgia Peaches 180. You're watching United Sim Racing Truck Series on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Back live at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway for the post-race show on the Georgia Peaches 180. And Chase Cabri gets his second win on the season, Cisco, but that one was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of door-to-door racing, bumper to bumper, and we love to see that here at Atlanta, but it was just a great race there, and it was caution-free, and we went all the way to the end of that race without having to worry about the sim ending under caution, and that was just an awesome race we got to watch there.
The conversation was, at that point, could Sal Accardi hold off for a couple of late race restarts? That's what we thought it was going to come down to, but we gave these guys the room to fight for it. They went at it for those final 15 laps. And to get our LSRTV post-race show underway, we've caught up with a third-place finisher, James Krahula. James, started on pole. You found yourself back in traffic there late. You get a podium out of it, so I know you got to be happy with at least that. But, I mean, what a crazy race to the checkered flag. What happened from behind the wheel of that 25?
Oh, first off, that just sucked there earlier in the race. I never got tight in 1 and 2 at all. Went up there, pushing to the outside wall, and then I just fought it all the way down the backstretch, and I screwed up some people's races, and and I gotta apologize to Jamie in the 17. I really screwed up his night. So, and other than that, that sucked giving up the lead, the race that you were commanding. And then just kind of working your way up there. But the racing was really close tonight. It was just a draft fest. It was wide open for the first half of the run. It was honestly like a plate race. And these guys ran close. Me and Chase early on in the race and everything. We ran each other real hard. I gotta congratulate him. He ran one hell of a race. So that was just absolutely nuts, and you're on the edge the entire race, trying to get as much position as possible, trying to defend your position and everything. You really can't run your line because you're worried about the person behind you.
And in this race, we saw a couple of times, and one of those was right before the final cycle of green flag pit stops, but earlier also. 15 laps on the tires, everybody lost their mind at the start, and then as well we said it a couple of times, was that a case of the tires falling off that quickly, or was it a fact that once the tires started to give, a lot of guys saw some guys slipping up and having, I guess, openings, and they tried to take advantage of those opportunities and just go a little bit too hard for it? What was with that? Because there was a couple of instances tonight, about 15 laps on the tires, everything broke out at once.
Oh, well, I mean, you're in practice, you're just running wide open. And so, I mean, you feel like Superman. So you go in there, and when the tires start falling off, you see these opportunities like, oh, yeah, I'll be able to hold it in there. And I mean, this race was just, take everything that you can because you're running so close. So whenever you saw an opportunity, you had to try and take it because, I mean, it really was hard to pass. So, I mean, that I think that was just the nature of the track and the weather with as much grip as we had. Yeah, just take everything you can get, and that's you're going to see some butting heads in that situation.
That was your second start on the season with these guys, and to be able to run competitive, you and your teammates as well, you have to be, I guess, satisfied as well with that. And again, for a race that you mentioned, you dominated early, you started on pole. It looked like minus a whole lot going on there in the second half. It should have been yours here through to the end. You're able to fight back and still get a good run, but I mean, everybody being competitive, it's got to make you guys feel good as far as looking at maybe a future running here.
Oh yeah, I mean, Cody puts on a fantastic league. I wish that my schedule allowed me to race here more often, because it's always an absolute blast when you come in here and race with these guys, because the competition is at such a high level. So it's always been a lot of fun. But I know a lot of my unacceptable teammates have been running really well and competitive here this whole season, and it's especially with this group of people, when you come out here and you do well, it definitely means it means something for sure.
I know there's a lot of people behind the scenes that make it happen for not only you, but as well as you mentioned your teammates. You come home on a podium tonight in the Georgia Peaches 180. Who do you want to give a call to?
Just go check us out on Facebook at Unacceptable Racing. Go and continue watching these USR races. Cody puts on a fantastic job. Want to thank him for hosting and putting together such a great league, and thanks to you guys on LSRTV. First time up here talking to you guys on LSRTV, and it's pretty fun.
You guys made it fun for us tonight by absolutely biting there at each other to the end. I mean, you guys were scrapping, bouncing off each other, digging hard, and it was a spectacular finish. James, thanks for sticking around and chatting with us. Take care, sir, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you here in the future.
Thank you, Evan.
James Grahula comes home in third tonight, driving the number 25 machine, and just in front of him, so close, Cisco, yet so far, Salicardi leads us to the final restart. Has to come home bridesmaid tonight. The number 36 actually this evening comes home in second.
Yeah, I've caught up with Sal down here on pit road, and Sal, a valiant effort in second. You were really strong out there, but I mean, you started P22. You had to come from a long way. Talk about kind of the battle through the race. How was it?
It was a hard-fought one, that's for sure. Yeah, we started deep in the field. Just didn't have no speed in qualifying. I wasn't quite sure where those guys were getting that kind of speed, but that's a race of attrition. You just got to hang in there and pick your spots, and it was like a plate race. I mean, you had to protect the bottom, and when it was an opening, you had to take it.
We kind of saw tonight that really the moves weren't being done. We kind of thought, you'd get the run on the outside and that might be, be enough to get around the guys. But we really saw that kind of, the bump and run on the bottom was really the preferred method. Was that what you were seeing out there? And I mean, just kind of hold that bottom?
Yeah, you kind of had to protect the bottom. The outside, to me, I was getting freight trained on the outside. I just couldn't make up any ground up there. So I just committed to the bottom, and that's where I was picking up my positions.
Take us through that final restart. You started P1 after Evan and I were sitting up there. That was probably the pit move of the century right there. You had a great job coming on pit road. It allowed you to grab the lead there. Talk us through that final restart.
Yeah, the pit stops were great. I was actually beating guys out of the pits on them. I was getting in the pits hard and getting out good. So, but I knew I'd get out on them on the restart, but I knew they were going to run me down. I mean, 39 was strong, in the early run. I would get them on the longer run. So, but there was like it was in the medium there. It was like not enough laps to really get my truck to work where his wouldn't.
Well, you bring home a strong P2 finish for Wood Wrench. Who else gets it done for you?
Man, I just got to thank Joel and Dominic, and those guys really helped me and stuff. And USR, I really never ran with them. I think this may be my second or third race with them, and I'm just shocked to even be on a podium.
There you go, Salicardi with a great run all the way from P22 to P2, and I believe Evan has caught up with a big winner down in Victory Lane.
Third start on the season. It is third top 5, but more importantly, second trip to victory lane for the driver of the number 39 machine. Chase Cabri, your big winner tonight at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and they did not make this one easy on you either, Chase. You had the fight to the end for this one. Started a P5. First off, you and the 25 looked like you were trying to kill each other in the opening half of this race, and then at the end there was no way, I don't think, you were letting Salicardi around you. You had to dig for this one, probably as hard as you could have pushed that race truck.
Oh yeah, it was a battle all race long. We went at it there in the beginning, and it was just all hard fun and games. We were all just having a good time out there. This racing, it just bred that the way it would go on, and the way that you held it wide open, and it was just a complete draft fest. So it was pretty much like, as Sal said, it was like racing Talladega or Daytona. So you had to throw the block, and you had to try to open the door when you could. And yeah, I just had fun all race long, and we were able to bring it home as a winner tonight. So kind of unlike last week, where we managed to fall short and run fourth due to some late race strategy mess ups, we were able to put it together and come home a winner tonight.
And again, it's your third top 5, so I know that's a good statistic in 3 starts, but as you just mentioned, you come here to win races, and you get your second one done here. You're on the pit lane, though, and then a caution flag comes out, and you end up 1-2. What was going through your mind there with all of that pit strategy there towards the end of that? Because that caution, if it comes a little bit earlier or a little bit later, could have put you guys at the back, but you guys lucked out with being on the front row.
Well, the caution came out, and I looked down at my relative and said, "Oh, okay, the leader's back there. I got to get out in front of him. I got to get out." And then all of a sudden, his little tracker kept coming closer and closer. I was like, "Okay, come on, pit crew, let me down." And we finally made it out just in time. And so getting out, I was gonna come back in pit road, but once I seen everybody duck in, I was like, "Well, no heck, I'm gonna stay out, and maybe me and Sal can end up 1-2." And I had Sal pretty much covered there on the short run, but Sal had incredible long run speed. He was incredible in the long run. So with only about 17 laps there to go, I knew that if I could just get out front and be able to hold him off, I was going to be able to come home on the top in the podium spot today.
You mentioned his speed difference between short and the long run. You blew by him pretty easily on the restart, and then he fell back to about third or fourth and then came back there at the end. The place to make moves was on the inside of turn 2 a lot tonight, when that guy in front of you would make that regular arc off the corner. You like to stick that truck to the bottom. He tried to do that a couple of times, but he wasn't able to quite get it to hook up. When we talk about a track like Atlanta, which is just so fast, how easily were those cars able to turn off the corners and into the corners? I mean, what were they handling like out there, especially when you guys were, right on each other's bumper in the wake there for a lot of this race?
Well, like I said, it was completely wide open no matter where you were at. Actually, through turns through 3 and 4, that's where you could actually make up your time, because it got really tight off 4, and that's where you seen a lot of mistakes made tonight. So you kind of had to breathe it there after about 6 to 7 laps, even sooner if you were in the draft. But if you're out front about 6 to 7 laps, then you better start breathing it, or you're going to be in the fence yourself. So 4 was my passing point, but 2 was just as good. It was really hard, and to battle to hold off Sal there. I've never been the one who likes to block and throw the block and all the way down to the white line, and when James was doing it to me earlier in that race, I was getting frustrated, but then once I got in the lead, like, you have to, you can't just open the door and let him through. It's just the product of being wide open at Atlanta.
You've led now over 75% of the laps that you've run so far in this season, and you've got a 66% win percentage with 2 wins and 3 starts. I'm sure you'd like to bump that number up to 75. You can go 3 for 4 if you can get the job done at Michigan. Will we see you there next week for the finale? And if so, what's your confidence level going into MIS?
Oh, I'm pumped to go to Michigan. It's going to be another wide open track, so you're just going to have to play it smart, and kind of just going to try to keep the same mindset I had tonight. And hats off to Jamie Walker. He was able to lock up the championship. So tonight and Michigan's really going to be about him. So if you come out of there a winner, I'm going to pull old Kyle Larson. Hopefully, if I can win it, you won't see me doing a burnout because Jamie has done amazing all season, and I was glad to be a part of it for the last 3 races or 4 races that will be at Michigan. But you'll definitely see me in full swing come the Winter Series when we hit some short tracks and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to that Winter Series where we're going to be able to start every race and hopefully compete for a championship there.
In UnitedSimRacing.com, you can find out information on those 2 Winter Series also and get involved. Chase sponsors and shout-outs, the usual routine for you guys here. Who powers that 39 truck to the racetrack?
Oh, well, it's a group effort. The Accelerated Motorsports number 39 tonight was absolutely amazing. I just got to thank all the guys, Alex Monte, Aaron Grosskopf, Nick Del Campo, Michael Fisher, and producer Daniel Eberhard, I should say. And it's always just fun and games getting in this. And once again, thank you, Evan, and everybody at LSRTV. Laura does a great job turning the switches, and everybody at USR. They put together a great league for me to come and have fun in. So just fun, and I can't wait to get back at it next week.
We lugged the cameras with us for the 4th week now, and I have to say that, again, the finish did not disappoint. It's your 2nd win in 3 starts, Chase. We congratulate you again, and we wish you the best of luck. We'll see you at Michigan to wrap up this campaign.
Okay.
Chase Cabri, your winner at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Cisco, MIS next week. But first, before we talk about Michigan and get set for the season finale, again, a spectacular race. And we said early with those cautions, I said, there's still time to get green flag runs. We saw that. We saw the drama, a caution flag in the middle of pit stops. We saw a couple of quick cautions, and we thought that we may go yellow flag to the end. Not the case. They drove the hardest they did all night in those final 15 laps, raced across the line, and the top 5 drivers within half a second of each other. Those are split times that you normally see at places like Talladega, which is a place that these drivers described what the racing action was like tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Atlanta's always been a producer of great finishes here, and we got to talk about him. He finished P5 tonight. For everything he went through, Jamie Walker, I'm just stunned. He finished P5 after being back in the pack, was involved in some of those incidents during the green flag runs. What a job done by the 17 driver, and I believe that's going to lock up his points there and be able to go into Michigan knowing he's the champion.
We talked about the problems that 17 had before a cycle of pit stops, and James was talking about how he felt bad for messing up the 17's night. He recovered for a P5, and with a gap of 39 points into tonight's race, Cody Gibson comes home in 23rd. That would be an unofficial gap of 58 points outside of this race. And again, although it is unofficial, I guess it's officially unofficial. We don't have the official word from the USR admins. It should be very well clearly locked up. Jamie Walker is your Season 1 United Sim Racing Truck Series champion. And again, these guys just in their first year. Spectacular stuff that they're putting on. We talk about Michigan. It'll be the season finale next Saturday night here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Michigan is a very wide racetrack. It's a very fast racetrack. And much like Atlanta, it leaves a lot of the capability in the driver's hands.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a track based around throttle control and just kind of being able to hold on to the truck. It's a tough little racetrack. Well, I say little. It's about a 2-mile racetrack, but it's a tough track to get around. And it should be interesting to see what goes on there, because that means pretty much everyone's going to be going out there. They're just going to win the race, Evan.
The championship no longer hangs in the balance. There are still a couple of spots on points left to be determined. But for all intended purposes, Everybody is going to go into Michigan looking for a checkered flag to not only end off the season on a winning note, but to carry momentum, as we said, into two of the winter series that the United Sim Racing Series is running. We're talking about right now, they're running the USR Truck Series. They also run the USR Xfinity Series. Come the winter time, we'll have the Frostbite Series and the Snowplow Truck Series as well. So you can find out more information on those series at UnitedSimRacing.com. Until then, though, in Michigan in the finale for next Saturday night, that does it from Hot Atlanta, and it was a hot one tonight. Chase Cabri, your winner in the Georgia Peaches 180, and on behalf of everybody at LSRTV and for the team tonight, myself, Evan Pasoko, as well as for Cisco Scaramuza and LSRTV's executive producer, Laura Lawson, we thank you for tuning in. Congrats to the 39, and congrats to Jamie Walker, your USR Truck Series champion for Season 1. We bid you good night from Hampton, Georgia. We'll see you in the Irish Hills of Michigan next Saturday night for the inaugural Truck Series finale at MIS. Until then, good night from Atlanta on behalf of LSRTV and USR on LSRTV and iRacing Live. We'll see you then.